assembles the government to.
Good morning. Today is Friday. It's already the third interview we have.
Yeah.
We still going strong. We already made 13 podcasts, but this one is really special.
Jeroen, it's your first one, right?
It's my first
It's my
one. Yeah,
third
yeah, yeah.
one, but
I had to do some other stuff this morning. But no, I was awake very early,
yeah,
so
yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
it was all about. I can tell it on record later on. Welcome, Alain.
Thanks, welcome. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Introduce yourself to the community.
So hi everyone. My name is Alain Schlesser. I'm principal architect with Yoast. I have been working in the technology space for many years already. I'm mostly focused on SEO work with Yoast, of course, but I've also been very involved in AI and performance work, where I have been collaborating with companies like Google and Microsoft to generally care about the open web. So that is also always an important part for me. And with Yoast, I can combine some of these concerns, where we just want to make sure that the open web is and remains as competitive as possible.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm also very involved in open source work. I maintain WPCLI, which is the command line tool for WordPress. And I have been involved with the WordPress project for a long time. It's not the only space I'm involved in, but it is the area where a lot of people know me from maintaining WPCLI. And that's also where I get a lot of collaboration started with hosting providers and other larger companies, because WPCLI has such a pivotal role in terms of infrastructure. So that's a bit of a summary of what I'm generally doing.
and that's the purpose of Yoast, right? Also the open web.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the open web in general has been on a lot of pressure in the last years.
Yeah.
Because the business model of the open web is something that we haven't come up with a good approach here. We do have things like display ads and so on, where for content that you can publish for free, you can still then monetize it via ads and things like that. But that business model is not.
It's over. Not yet?
Yes, and it's now, especially with everything that's happening in the AI space, it's getting more and more complicated to keep the typical sites that we saw in open web, where someone just freely shares information, to keep those afloat, because it's harder and harder to just even cover the costs of those websites. So the open web is something that I think is crucial for our society, for
democracy,
the furthering of knowledge and
yeah,
things like that. And we need to make sure that keeps surviving, even as things change with AI and so on. And particularly in my role at Yoast, something like SEO and whatever it will transform into, people attach lots of new acronyms to it right now.
That's fancy.
Fundamentally, it just means you optimize the discovery of something, and we want to help people optimize the discovery of their content sites, especially for those open web content sites that we don't want to get lost in this transformation that we see happening.
Yeah. And how does Yoast play a role into this? Is it changing as well? Because first it was mostly focused on SEO, right? The WordPress plugin.
Yes.
But you also need to adapt, I guess.
Yes, so we have been closely following, of course, what is happening. Our stance on SEO in general hasn't changed that much, because as much as people say that now AI is replacing search, that is not really true. It's just that AI goes in front of search. Behind the scenes, there's still search happening. The main
we have
change.
to take this quote and put it on socials.
Yeah, this is the quote.
The main change that we see is that we were in a very comfortable position now for quite a while where we had a monopoly. Everyone was complaining about it, but it made things easy. You knew who to optimize for, and you got a set of rules or guidelines to know how to optimize. And now everything is being split up again. It's fragmented. We have less observability. We have less conventions and less rules. So we're back to square one, and we don't know who to optimize for and how to optimize. But still, that optimization needs to happen, because whenever you type something into an AI system, behind the scenes, there's still search engines that need to discover the content first and surface it as context for the AI to be able to give a meaningful answer.
Yeah.
Cool. So yesterday you spoke on stage during Brighton SEO, right?
Yes.
Where was your talk all about?
So I was talking about an agentic SEO stack.
Yeah.
And it was basically trying to figure out if you use all of those new possibilities that agents that collaborate with each other provide, if you assemble a systematic stack around that and use a concept called context engineering. So as opposed to prompt engineering, context engineering doesn't try to fit everything in one prompt and hopes that it gets the right result, but rather it gives the AI systems and access to tools so that it can fetch missing context on its own and do so iteratively until it has everything it needs to give you the correct answer to whatever you requested. And so the talk was demonstrating how I assembled a stack of 4 layers, assembling this context engineering concept into a repository you can just clone using Claude Code and its agentic abilities to just give it any SEO task. It's targeting like smaller agents or so, giving it any SEO task, like write me a report with these sections for this client, and it will just figure it out. It might take a while, but it allows you to automate things in your workflows with your process and your templates and your guidelines that were previously almost impossible to automate because it would have been different for each client, because each client would have their own specific elements and so on. And with this agentic approach, there's adaptive reasoning involved. So you give it the tools and you give it the different steps, but it assembles the steps and adapts them as needed to adapt it for this specific client in this context that you're asking it a question.
Cool. That sounds interesting, but also difficult at the same time. Is it possible for everybody to build solutions like this, or is it still in the early stage, and do you need to have a developer background? What do you think?
No, you actually don't need a developer background. It is running on Claude Code, as I mentioned, which is a CLI tool. But now Claude Code there's a new feature that they published recently, which has a bit of a misleading name, and I know why they did that. It's called Claude Code on Web. But what it actually would be, what it should be named, is Claude Code Cloud. Because it actually is a cloud-hosted version of the CLI Claude Code tool. But that is quite a mouthful. so I understand why.
I was already lost.
Yeah,
Would
I
be funny
understand
if
why
they
they
gave that
called
name,
it
yeah.
Claude Code on Web.
Cloud Code on Cloud.
Claude Code Cloud, yes. So it basically adds a web interface to Claude Code and gives you access to a cloud-hosted version of it, but you can then just attach it to a GitHub repository, and then it will, you can tell it what changes to make, and it will make those changes and then send them as a pull request into your GitHub repository. And so the repository I shared during my talk yesterday, you can just attach that to the web version of Claude Code. Then you don't even need to be comfortable with the CLI, with your terminal. You have a web interface. You tell it with a /initialize command for what brand or website to initialize the starting context. Then you can go ahead and just tell it what to do. Give me a report with keyword gap analysis against my 3 main competitors, and we'll do that. It will first uncover the competitors, then do keyword research for all parties involved, then compare them, gather live data from data for your SEO is currently built in, but you can use any source you want. So it's very easy to use as non-coder, and if you want to make any changes, everything is basically just text files in Markdown format. So you just need to be comfortable changing text files in your GitHub repository, and then you get to go.
Cool. And is this something that will be in the future in Yoast plugin or something as well, or in the workflow of Yoast?
So
or is this something that you guys want to share with your audience?
This is research that we're doing to figure out what is possible, how does it behave, what works, what doesn't. This is not something that can easily be productized, because just very fundamentally, if you want to productize something, you need to control the cost structure of it. Unfortunately, we always need to figure out the money aspect of everything as well. And with those agentic approaches, the very feature that makes them so valuable, that they can just figure out no matter what, it also makes them unpredictable in terms of, okay, how long will this run and how much will it cost? Well, you don't know. Depending on what you typed, it might run for 2 hours and cost you $100 because it was such an extreme use case. It will still be much cheaper than you doing it by hand, of course. But that is not something that you can just drop as is into a product and sell at scale.
As a premium thing.
As a VIP concierge service or so, that will be fine. But for the type of products we are offering, that is not viable as is. So that will need more research and more.
But that's also your role within the company. Research these things.
It's part of it. I was hired to figure out scalability in the broadest sense. So from the engineering side, make sure that the software runs correctly on larger sites, but also how we can scale the product, how we can make sure that we scale the target audience and all of those things. So really in the broadest sense, and this is part of it. So part of it is just figuring out, especially now with all those fundamental changes that we see in the search landscape with everything that AI brings about, it's just figuring out what will be the new normal in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. We need to be there when our customers need us, so we need to always be ahead of the curve and figure out where is this trending towards, what are the incentives in play, what will this ultimately boil down to, so that we can always be a step ahead and start preparing and building the products that you will need once we hit this new normal.
So if you have like a feature backlog or something, the things that will happen in the Yoast plugin in the near future, can you tell us something? What will happen?
So, of course, it's a very competitive space. I cannot share too many details, but I can already share that when you need more guidance in this new AI reality, that is one of our main focuses, to make sure that we can provide guidance and that we build the tooling that you need. We recently, for example, launched a new feature. It's the first iteration of it. It allows you to get a visibility of how AI systems see your brand. So it's the AI brand visibility index, and this feature allows you to just enter your brand and get a visual representation of how the main AI systems currently see your brand. Do they know about your brand? Do they have a positive or negative connotation about sentiment about your brand? So you will get visibility and observability into those AI systems, and those are the areas where we're currently building the features.
Nice.
And we want to make sure that you can not only optimize against the traditional search engines that still remain relevant. It's important to say. So something like the Google indexing will not go away, or the Bing indexing, because those search engines are still used behind the scenes. But you also need to now take into consideration this other layer. So when you do a request into an AI system, the AI does a breadth search, like a fan-out search first, and then you need to be in the top results to even be considered as context for the AI.
Yeah.
And then that context goes into the AI system and it's coupled to the training data of the AI system to figure out how it wants to respond.
Yeah.
And so you need to cover both of those aspects. You need to surface in the search first to be considered, but then you also need to be meaningful enough for the AI as a brand to not just be filtered out as noise from the search engine.
Yeah.
So both of these areas need to be considered, and you need to be able to optimize for both, have observability into both, and that's what we're currently working on.
Okay.
As a Yoast tool, you have a lot of impact on the open web as well, on the internet. Regularly, we are asking, what is your biggest SEO fuck up? We can do that later on. But I was wondering, what is the biggest SEO fuck up you have seen by a Yoast client, for example, that he did completely wrong?
I'm not sure I can share anything specific there. I'm more on the research and high level front.
Oh yeah.
And
Not the
I don't have that many insights into how we help clients directly.
No.
And more importantly, Yoast itself doesn't provide SEO services.
No.
So we provide products and tooling.
Yeah.
We don't provide the SEO services. There have been more recent site migrations, for example, that were notable for how badly they went and a lot of money was lost. But I wouldn't want to pick out one particular one now.
I can imagine.
And it's ultimately people use our tools in whatever ways they think is best, but they usually also do that coupled with SEO services.
Yeah.
So we don't provide the SEO services directly.
No.
We're happy to support any SEO agencies and SEO services that use our tools, but we're not directly involved with how people ultimately use it.
Another question, maybe not about fuck ups, but you guys have a premium function, right? Yoast Premium. What is the most important feature for a free Yoast user to go to premium? The most asked feature.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, and I'm afraid the answer is like a typical engineering answer. It depends, because the thing is,
typical SEO answer as well.
If you have one feature that is valuable to you and that saves you a few hours of your time, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But what that feature might be depends on what's your website, what's your typical work, what are your priorities, and so on. So it's hard to pinpoint one feature.
Yeah.
Each of the features that are in premium, they provide considerable value if it is something you actually can make use of and that can save you time.
Yeah.
So you might have an e-commerce store that changes products a lot, and you need whenever you remove products, you need automatic redirects to not have lots of 404s and always point people to a meaningful product to not lose their traffic. So the redirection manager might be useful.
Yeah.
There might be people that are trying to build up SEO silos and do more information architecture in their content. So the cornerstone features and multiple keywords aspect might be valuable to them. We have some AI-powered features that can save you a lot of time, like getting suggestions of generated meta descriptions, or we have an AI optimization feature, so you can run it on a post, and instead of just the system telling you what is wrong with your post, it also makes suggestions of how to improve it. That can save you valuable time, and especially if you struggle with actually writing things in your main language. Oftentimes for people the language is actually one of the hardest parts of writing quality content. Then a feature like that where you have an AI system that makes suggestions of how better to get your key phrases into your content, that can be super valuable. So each of the features can be the game changer for you. If it's something that can save you
my
time.
favorite feature was robots.txt changing feature.
Oh yeah.
Because we always had to go to developers
Yes.
But it makes us change the robots.txt. So yeah, that was my favorite. Do you have a favorite feature?
I was thinking. Maybe
you are
maybe
thinking.
my brains. I guess not a specific future, but it's so easy to use that even my mother who don't do SEO but need to do SEO can do it, and that's it sounds easy to make that solution, but it's pretty difficult, I guess.
It's nice to hear that, because ultimately the target audience of Yoast is not supposed to be the topmost SEO experts,
Hardcore SEOs
that know how to do everything and so on.
No.
Like the tagline for quite a long time has been SEO for everyone. So the entire point is for us to figure out how things are supposed to work and then turn it into a product that make them accessible for everyone, even if they don't have expert SEO knowledge. They still are competitive to optimize for that discovery that I mentioned earlier, be it for SEO or now for other things. So we want to make everyone competitive in that space. If they have something to say, they should be able to make their content discoverable in an easy way as well. So that has always been the main goal of Yoast, and if it's so easy that anyone can use it, then we actually achieved it.
All right.
There you go.
Let's move on to the last question.
Yeah. Getting excited?
What is your biggest SEO fuck up in the past? Do you have one to share?
I think the one that was most notable recently in the space that I'm normally active was when WooCommerce tried to migrate to a better domain.
Yeah.
They had the domain woo.com, and they migrated everything from woocommerce.com to woo.com because that was the stronger domain, the stronger brand, and so on. But they had some fundamental issues with canonical URLs, with redirects, and so on, so that in the end, almost their entire organic traffic just disappeared overnight. And then they had to really struggle and somehow get everything back. They reverted the change and so on. I think by now they sorted it out. But that was really, it was scary to see how badly a migration can go for minor details that you get wrong. So it's really, really important to care for the minor details as well when you do migration like that. Because if there's money at stake and all of a sudden, the revenue drops by 90% over time.
It's a problem.
That is scary, and then you enter panic mode, and it's hard to make reasonable decisions in that panic mode.
It can kill businesses. So,
yes. So that was one of the more notable ones in the space I usually operate in. As I said, I think by now they got everything settled again. Everything is running fine, but there was definitely something that went wrong there, and people got really scared with it.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you so much, Alain. And before we close, thank you for the sponsorship for the SEO Brain Meetup. Tell it to the team. What a wonderful job they did. So,
yes, I will follow that.
Thank you. And thank you for your beautiful interview.
Thank you for everything you're doing. I'm only very new to the SEO Brain community, but I already love it. People are so great, so nice, so friendly and welcoming. It was really very enjoyable. Thank you for everything.
And you have the Footer socks right now.
Awesome. Thanks.
Right. Thanks.